Hello and welcome to today's Delta Credit Tip. Today we're talking the Open Sky Secured Credit Card. Is it sky is the limit or do we keep it grounded? Stay tuned, we'll fill you in on today's Delta Credit Tip. Hello and welcome back to today's Delta Credit Tip. I'm Michael Holmes of Delta Credit Restoration, bringing you yet more information to help you in your credit restoration process. Today we're talking the Open Sky Secured Credit Card. A lot of customers out there use this card to kind of have an open door policy on letting people in, but is this a good choice? Well, stay tuned. We're going to fill you in on our opinion on some of the pros and cons of this card. Hopefully, again, you find this information helpful. So give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell. All right, so let's talk about the good stuff, right? Let's talk about the glass half full with this Open Sky credit card. And by the way, this is all underwritten through Capital Bank, right? And if you happen to have 2 relationships with them already, they're not going to give you a third. Or if you've applied 4 times in the last 6 months, not going to go there either. All right, so just kind of keep that in mind before you apply. But let's talk about the good stuff about this card. The first thing that we really like, and it's kind of it's good, but it's still kind of bad, is the interest rate, right? With any credit card, you're going to be paying upwards of 18 to 22% for most credit cards, right? Unless you just got really, really good credit. But in this particular case, the margin on this card is only 13.89%. And with prime being 3.5%, then that means 17.37 is the interest rate on this card. And relative to other cards in this genre of the whole secured credit card realm, that's actually not that bad, right? It's still a kick to the pants at 17.37%, but it's with a cup, I guess you could say, right? The second thing that we kind of like about this card is that there is a grace period, which is nothing special because most credit cards now have that grace period. And that grace period is where you basically have that billing cycle to pay off your credit card, and any purchases that you've made during that time does not accrue interest. So they do have a grace period with this credit card, and you're not paying interest from the swipe. You're paying if you only carry the balance. And last is the initial deposit. While there are some credit cards out there with a lower initial deposit like Capital One, this card does have a low minimum intro of only $200. There are some credit cards that require 3 or 5 or more, but this one is only $200. And of course, you can put as much as you want to have a higher limit, but at least here you can start with a nice low dollar amount. So again, between the interest rate, the grace period, and the introductory deposit, those are the things that we like about this Open Sky credit card. So now let's talk about the dark side, right? What do we not like about this card? And most of the characteristics that we look for on cards have to do with how much we want to keep them, right? Because as we discussed in other videos, the longevity of your relationships matter. So if we've got a card with big annual fees, big interest rates, and bad policies, we don't want to keep this card forever. It might help us start to build our credit, but once we get to a certain plateau, the card becomes very costly or becomes unproductive or counterproductive. And in this particular case, some of the characteristics of this card we find a little counterproductive. For instance, conversion. So one of the main characteristics we look for in a secured credit card is that over time, with good performance, they're going to send you your money back, right? There's no point in holding my deposit for 5 years if I'm paying you on time. And with the Open Sky credit card, there is no conversion. It always will be a secured credit card. So the only way you're going to get your deposit back is to close the account, right? Not a big fan of that characteristic, okay? The second thing that we really don't like about the Open Sky credit card is the fees associated with this account. So there is first an annual fee of $35. And this is becoming kind of an antiquated characteristic of even secured credit cards. There are a lot of options out there with no annual fee, and why they are charging $35 is beyond me, but that is part of the card's characteristics. But just like the name and what we said before, the sky is kind of the limit with an open sky credit card, and so are their fees. They have so many weird fees. They have an inactive fee. So if you don't have any activity for 12 months, $10 a month fee. If you don't have any activity after 36 months, they now have a $10 dormant fee that they're going to add on top of that. And during that time, if you're getting paper statements, they're going to charge you an additional $3 a month. So the fees keep going and going and going, and there's transfer fees and over the limit fees and foreign transaction fees. There's all kinds of extra fees. Some of them are pretty normal, but when you add it all together, you're going to be constantly looking over your shoulder, constantly reading your statements, the electronic ones hopefully, so you're not getting a fee again, to make sure that you're not getting overpriced for this card. So as Donald Trump would say, you're fired. So really, when it comes to this card, when we've got to rate this thing from say a 0 to a 10, where 10 is, hey, let's go down there and stand in line like we do at Chick-fil-A, or 0, where we just want to throw it in the trash. Right now, we're kind of about a 3 to a 4, right? Love the rate, like that there's grace period, but there's so much about this card that's going to work against us in the long run. There's no way we're going to keep it, so there's no point in getting involved, right? If you want some other characteristics of cards, we've got a lot of other good reviews and a lot of other alternatives out there. Maybe shop around before you apply for the Open Sky card, okay? Again, hopefully we'll find this information helpful. If so, give us that thumbs up. Don't forget, subscribe and hit the bell so that every week as we come out with more information, you get it right away. And hopefully this will help you make a choice to make a change. Delta.